Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you could all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, is there any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, can I get a verification of the posting of the agenda, please?
Tara Adams for the record. The agenda was posted on the 12th day of March, 2026, between the hours of 12 and 5 p.m. at all the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thank you. Tara, can I get a approval of this agenda as submitted?
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of this agenda as submitted.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Our first appointment, 6A, presentation of employee service awards for the first quarter of 2026. And with that, I'll hand it over to County Manager Spross.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Spross for the record. So it's that time of the year again where we hand out our employee service awards. These service awards are going to be for the first quarter of 2026. Again, start over here. I got Alexa helping me out. Again, the county wants to thank everybody for their hard work and for their service during this time. And without further ado, we will get started. We'll start with our 5-year service awards. First award, Jason Santiago from the Sheriff's Office, 5 years. And the Sheriff. Thank you. And for our second 5-year service award goes to Trevor Fulham from Juvenile Detention. Moving on to our 10-year service awards from the Sheriff's Office, Christopher Burton. Moving on to 15 years of service, again from the Sheriff's Office, Michael Harden. Again with 15 years from the Recorder's Office, Amy Lowry. Again with 15 years of service from Justice Court, Benjamin Trotter. Moving on to 20 years of service from the District Attorney's Office, Brenda Mahan. And finally, rounding out this quarter's Employee Service Awards with 25 years of service for community activities, parks and recreation, Jorge Guerrero. And again, on behalf of myself and the Board of County Commissioners, we want to thank everybody for their service. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. 7B, consideration and possible action, approval of an interstate interlocal contract between Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, and the 10th Judicial District Court of Nevada, Court of the State of Nevada, and in the Churchill County for the provision of child support judicial officer for the Child Support Enforcement Program.
I'm Tiffany Josephs, Court Administrator with the District Court. It is that time for us to renew our contract with the State of Nevada for funding and assistance with our Child Support Judicial Officer. The contract is good for the next 4 years, so just needed to approve it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Tiffany? Is there any public comment? If not, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the interstate interlocal contract between the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, and the 10th Judicial District Court of the State of Nevada in and for Churchill County for the provision of a child support judicial officer for the Child Support Enforcement Program.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
And then Commissioner Guerra, I believe there's a spot for your signature as well as the...
Yep, I have it signed already. Thank you. Did anyone want to pull into any of the letters received?
No.
Okay, we'll jump to old business. 8A, consideration of possible action, update on updates and recommendations for the fiscal year 2027 Churchill County budget. Sherry?
Hi, I updated the budget. Here's some hard copies if you need another one. I don't know if you brought the old one.
Are these the same?
Well, it's just the one that was attached to the agenda. Because we added a couple positions last time, and so the total is that we're increasing from the prior year for the additions for the wish list items is $2.7 million. And so we've been looking at revenue, and so I guess, do you have any changes, any questions?
Is there any edits or changes anyone wants to make?
I've reviewed the budget and I've provided my thoughts to the county manager, and we're still assessing those to see if we want to take away or add to on certain things. Still a work in progress.
Okay, anything else? Okay, with that, thank you, Sherry.
Okay, just a little sidebar here. We have our workshop for this where we're going to approve the final budget on April 2nd. So just make that aware that that's when we're going to be bringing it to you. So after that, unless there's, and then we don't have the job study yet. And we put $1 million in this budget for the job study. You can see that outlined there. But we don't have it like down to the departmental level yet because it's still a work in progress, as you know. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to 8B, consideration of possible action, update on Churchill County compensation study. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Should be a relatively short update today. About last week, we provided a template to provide feedback to all the departments. Almost every department responded and gave feedback on each of their positions. It's all been communicated to Baker Tilly. They have started to implement some of those changes and reviews based off of the feedback we'd given at the meeting, as well as this new feedback. They're still working on that. They are planning to come out here on April 1st for in-person meetings with all of the departments. Once they have confirmed their travel plans, we'll send out a meeting schedule for everyone to attend. happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions or comments from board or staff?
I do have a question. When Baker Tilly comes out in April, are they going to have an opportunity to meet with the commissioners one-on-one as well?
They will, yes. I believe the feedback I've been getting is the commissioners would prefer to meet towards the end of the day, and so we'll reserve 30 minutes for each of you to meet individually with Baker Tilly.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thanks, Joe. 8C, consideration and possible action, request for additional funding for the new Pass Day House and Center in the amount of $90,000 for necessary improvements required to update the complex.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Randy Hines, Public Works Planning and Building. So I'll give you a little bit update on where we're at the project. Currently, all the demo has been complete. The new walls, new doors for ADA compliant has been constructed. 88 bathrooms have been constructed, and they've been patching walls. There's new water heaters, new furnaces. All the stuff's been installed, and basically we're kind of sitting here at a standstill talking about these change orders. So I kind of want to go over the change orders that we've received, which is 1 and 2. You can see on there we've got some additional grab bar or additional structures that we had to put in for grab bars. We encountered the gyre vents were just blowing straight down into the basements, so we wanted to get that fixed and get all that stuff cleaned up. There was a big structural. There's a beam in 280 that has no structural bearing to the foundation and actually down to the ground itself, and that was one of the big ones at 18,500. That we have to get fixed for the project. And then there's some irrigation on site that we need to get removed and abandoned because, again, most of the site's going to be concrete and or DG. Change order 2, this is kind of the big one where we found out that the kitchens need to be ADA compliant in the three of the units. We were trying to modify the existing cabinets, countertops, and get them dropped down to be ADA compliant. It felt that it was more cost effective to rip those out, purchase new cabinets, new countertops, new fixtures, and then along with that, new appliances, because the existing appliances don't fit in there when we drop it down approximately 2 inches. That comes out to be about $60,000 for that change. And then the last big one we had is some data installation in each of the units, and this is to hardwire data points throughout the units, most in the rooms, in each unit, and then for the offices throughout. We will have an additional change order for electric strikes, and that's our security system. Every door for access will be key fobbed or be fobbed. That way we're not handing keys out to clients or anything. It's just a fob, and then it's easily programmed. And then we've just got some miscellaneous additional interior door hardware, and venting. So with that, we also have PAC States to finalize all the security system. That was an additional, or not additional. That was the $19,000 that we were going to use in the contingency amount of the $100,000. But with these other changes, we're over. And then there was one other thing. Oh, furnishings for the units, and that was about $30,000 is what Shannon's looking at. So with that, we had $970,000 left on the grant, and we're about $90,000 short of that with these change orders. So with that, I can ask any question or answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Randy. Any questions or comments from board or staff?
Go ahead.
No.
So with these change orders, and I'm going to make it clear, I hate change orders.
What's that?
I hate change orders. I mean, it's just always change. You get change ordered to death. Does this put us right about 25% of project on change orders? Contingency total?
Probably 15. Because the total is going to be a little close to $1 million, and we're 150,000 in change orders.
190,000, right? Because you got 100,000 in contingency.
We're 150,000 in change orders because we always knew we would have the Pac State stuff to do, and we always knew we'd have furnishings to do. We were hoping to encompass that in the $100,000 change order, so, or capture that in that. For the contract, it's for the construction, it's about 150,000, so 15%.
Okay. I would just, from my point of view, I'd just recommend not coming back with any more change orders.
Correct. We met with the contractor last week, and we talked about everything else that we have. Again, most of the construction's done, right? We just got to paint, put carpet in, all that stuff. Again, you don't know what you don't know until you open things up, and that's, unfortunately, we open things up and find things that we either need to fix and then we had some ads, right, with the data stuff, so. But we're 99%. We've gone through everything for the rest of the work on there, and I think that's why we have that additional 10,000 for the change order 3 for that work.
Okay. Good.
And I did want to note before you say something, we should have a credit back on the electrical because the contractor's installing the wire for all the cameras and the access points. They did have in their contract to perform to install the cameras and the access points themselves. The switches and the programming, that has been moved over to Pac State. So there should be a credit in there. We just have not received that credit yet.
Okay. And Pac States, we approved that contract a couple meetings ago, and that was for cameras and alarm. It has nothing to do with data, or it did?
No data. It's more to get the cameras on, the access points, and the programming.
And then, okay, so talking about I agree with Commissioner Hyde on his comments. Talking about the change order, there's some of them that probably could have been figured out sooner, I guess. But on the data, help me understand the data. It's a large number of that number. And what are we trying to accomplish there?
What we were trying to accomplish was having a hardwire location in each of the units. So we've got in each of the units and each of the rooms in each unit. So I think there's approximately 9 or 10 total units within all the units, I guess,
When you
rooms.
talk about a unit, you're talking about like an
A
apartment,
room,
right?
correct. The
One
rooms,
apartment
correct.
is a unit.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we've got the day center, which we've got offices in there, so we want to have data locations in there. And then I think we added 1 or 2 in the manager's suite as well. So
Okay.
and I'll follow up with that. We've also included Wi-Fi into each one of the units, so there's a centrally located Wi-Fi hub in each unit as well. That was in that change.
So I'd like to see if we can maybe reduce that number and put one hardline connection in each unit.
Yep.
And the appropriate ones in the office space, and one hardline connection in the managers, and see if that number comes down. I don't think we need a hardline connection in every bedroom. That's just a thing of the past. But that's what I'd like to see, and see if that number could come down 15,000 or 20,000 or something. But I'd like to still maybe approve this today with the knowing that once you get those new numbers, that number would come down.
Yep.
You guys have any comments on that?
That sounds good to me.
No, I agree. Most of the time, the Wi-Fi router goes a long ways.
Yeah. And we have a meeting today, so we're going to go over this stuff, and Shannon will be back tomorrow, so we can discuss that with her as well.
Okay. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Just one comment for clarification. I think Randy's put this number together so that he doesn't have to come back in front of this board, so I believe that there's probably a little bit of cushion in there, but it was always the understanding that this is going to try to we're only going to spend what we're going to spend, and he's going to try to value engineer this thing down so it's not, hopefully won't be that 90,000. It's just a bit of a cushion to make sure he doesn't have to come back.
Then I'd like to comment to that is when you get done and you get all your reductions and you get the work done, I'd like to see the final numbers of what we actually ended up paying. And that could come in however how you want to send it to us.
I agree.
Agreed. Any other questions, comments, concerns? If not, then I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the additional funding of $90,000 to complete the project.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a second to that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Randy. We'll jump to new business, 9A, consideration of possible action, Resolution 4-2026, a resolution authorizing an election to impose an additional levy of taxes ad valorem for the purpose of providing funding for the purchase of major fire equipment and apparatus, including approval of the question language to be presented to the voters. And with that, I'll turn it over to the fire department.
Good morning. My name is Chelsea Sanford. I'm here on behalf of the Churchill County District Attorney's Office to help with the legal aspects of Resolution 4-2026, which is the ad valorem tax. And with me today, I have some wonderful individuals from the Fire Board, and they're going to be introducing themselves.
Eric Fain, President of the Fallon Churchill Fire Department Organization.
Randy Sharp, First Assistant Fire Chief, Fallon Fire Department. Jared Dooley, Fire Chief for the Fire Department.
Thank you. We're here today. We seek this board's adoption of a ballot question to be presented to the general November election. We're asking to impose a 3-cent tax to fund purchase of major pieces of fire equipment and apparatus. This tax was originally approved to the voters in 2008, again in 2014, and then again in 2020. This tax is set to sunset on June 30th, 2027. We're asking this board to adopt this resolution so it can go in front of the voters and have it approved for another 6 years. This tax is authorized pursuant to NRS 354.5982. And as you can see, part of this packet, we have introduced the resolution language and the proposed sample ballot question. This was created in conjunction with the clerk's office. We did pursuant to statute where we solicited a ballot committee to see about possible language for or against the ballot measure. After appropriate time on the website, unfortunately, we did not receive any responses to be part of the ballot question committee. So by default, by statute, in conjunction with the Churchill District Attorney's Office, we created the language, as you can see inside the sample ballot question of for or against it. This was presented in front of the Fire Board on March 10th, 2026, and the Fire Board approved for this exact language of the sample ballot question and the resolution to be presented to this board. If it's adopted and approved by this board, it will go in front of the general public on November 2026. If the majority of voters approve it, we'll be adding the ad valorem tax to the voters. And as you can see by the sample language of exactly the financial impact that will have upon the voters, it's not going to be taken away from the property tax that funds this county. It's an ad valorem additional tax that has to be approved by the voters, and it's 3 cents per $100 assessed for property value. 100, sorry. So.
Okay, anything
And we
else?
also have with us today the fire department. If you have any questions about what the funds in the past have been used by or been in the purchase of, and in the future, if this is approved by the voters, what it would fund in the future. If you have any questions for them.
Anything you want to add?
Sure. Jared Dooley, for the record, Fire Chief of the Fallon Church Fire Department. Obviously, all the good information is in that the proposed sample ballot questions for the voters to read. There's good information in there. The resolution obviously has some information that people can consider as well. But I'm here this morning just to kind of let people know what we've done with it in the past, maybe some needs that we'll have in the future. And so I just prepared a couple of short remarks. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me the time to speak this morning. I've been asked to comment on an initiative to extend the ad valorem tax on properties located in Churchill County that's used to support the fire department. As some of you may know, the fire department has been the recipient of this additional tax levy over the past 6 years, and it was voted on by the residents. These funds are set aside specifically for our department and the acquisition of major pieces of fire equipment and apparatus. To restate, these funds can only be used by the fire department, and they can only be used for major pieces of equipment. Historically, we've used these funds for many large projects that are critical in maintaining the fire department. We've replumbed 2 trucks and 2 engines at a cost of about $308,000. We've done electrical upgrades to those trucks that are about 30 years old now at a cost of about $75,000. Excuse me. We purchased 132 carbon fiber SCBA tanks, and that was a cost of about $120,000. We purchased a response vehicle for the duty officer, $87,000. We were able to purchase and outfit 2 Type 6 fire trucks, which are the smaller type fire trucks that we use in brush fires all over Churchill County. The cost of that was about $142,000. We upgraded our radio system from a wideband system to a narrowband system, $57,000. And then the one that probably most people are familiar with in the most recent purchase was the 2 engines that we just purchased from Darley Company a couple of years ago. They were just over $1 million a piece, so the last draw out of this, what we would call the 525 account, or the account that kind of agglomerates all those funds, was $2,126,441, and for that money, we got 2 of the best fire engines you can buy. So these funds are used to great effect. The purpose of mentioning our previous purchases is really twofold. I would like to assure the taxpayers of this county that the funds entrusted to the fire department are being used responsibly and to great effect. I would also suggest that they illustrate the point perfectly that the fire department has continuing needs to maintain its current state of readiness. Since the last time this initiative was voted on, our volumes for calls have increased from approximately 400 6 years ago, and we're well over 500 calls for service per year now. Our member numbers are increasing. The cost of everything is increasing, and that includes fire trucks. As we look to the immediate future, the fire department of our needs here in Churchill County, I can see these funds being used within the next 5 to 10 years to replace 2 fire trucks that are currently over 30 years old. We've looked into approximate costs of these 2 trucks that we're looking to replace. And the last time we looked, which was a little over a year ago, it was about $1.8 million a piece for these fire trucks. They're a really specialized piece of equipment. They're kind of one-off builds, the way that we do our fire trucks. And so a lot of the funds that we would accrue in this account over the next 6 years would be used to kind of buy fire trucks. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to the taxpayers of Churchill County for your continued support of the fire department. This tax revenue helps the fire department immensely, and I'd ask the commission to move forward with placing this tax levy before the voters.
Thank you, Jared. Anything else? Any questions or comments from board or staff?
I would just like to say that I've personally seen the effect of what this tax does over a period of career at the fire department. And it's definitely enhanced our community to keep us within budget and to provide service to every citizen in a unique way. So thank you for being good stewards of this account, and thank you for always having the utmost perfect equipment to do your job, and especially the morale of the fire department to always be there when we call. No other community in this nation has the same fire department that we do. So with that, I would definitely support this measure and hope it moves forward.
Very well said. Any other?
I would adopt those comments of Member Blakey. We appreciate it, and it's a good value to this community. Thank you.
Is there any public comment? If not, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the resolution R-4-2026 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
New business 9B, consideration possible action, renewal of professional service contract with Charles B. Woodman Esquire in the amount of $96,000 for fiscal year 2027, $105,600 in fiscal year 2028, $116,160 in fiscal year 2029, for indigent legal services in the amount of $48,000 for fiscal year 27, $52,800 for fiscal year 28, $58,080 for fiscal year 2029 for representation of individuals in NRS 432B juvenile temporary protection order cases and guardianship cases effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, with the option to renew for additional. Now you guys got me laughing. With the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year terms at the payment on the same terms and conditions as set forth. Oh, herein, thank God.
Please.
All yours.
Do I need to say anything after that? Alexa Robinson, County Manager's Office, for the record. Yes, this is for the renewal. It's 2 contracts through Charles B. Woodman. He's our contract attorney for DIDS and some juvenile and guardianship cases. He is he's kind of, I've talked to the public defenders about this, and he's considered sort of crucial to their DIDS team. He's called like the heavy hitter. He is absolutely necessary to their, even if they weren't short-staffed. He's just a necessary member of their team. And we've had him for many, many years. He's got over 20 years experience in DIDS cases. I would also add that all of his work done through DIDS is there's a reimbursable cap through the state. So anything over, I think it's 175 per hour. So anything over that he does for DIDS specific work is fully reimbursable by the state. And that when we were planning the budget, I had previously last year, I thought his contract was going to come up, so we discussed renewing. But it turned out there was one more automatic renewal baked into that contract, and he kindly agreed to just keep it, just go ahead a whole another year without getting any kind of increase, which that contract was like 4 years, so he didn't have an increase in 4 years. And then, so I knew that this was coming up, so I baked it into the budget already, so the increase in his fees is already into the budget, the tentative budget you guys have all seen. And again, the DIDS specific part is fully reimbursable by the state. And yeah, if anybody's got any questions for me.
Thank you. Alexa, any questions or comments from board or staff?
I do have one. Oh, go ahead.
So when I look at this contract, it has an hourly rate.
Yes.
So we're going by the hourly rate, and
It's
he's
an
just
hourly rate
billing-
with a not to exceed, yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, any other questions?
And he's just the attorney for like when it's a double conflict, right? So
He-
like if Jacob can't do it and Wright can't do it, then this is when he gets called in, correct?
Yeah, he's more of their, like, yeah, for complicated cases, or if somebody can't handle it, or if there's nobody available, yeah, he gets called in for that, yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Any other questions? Is there any public comment?
I just wanted to add some comments, just so you guys know, we have not received any funds this year from DIDS. They have not given us the funds from 2025 for the true-up, so because they say they're short-staffed. And also, this contract is just paid per mount. It's not like he doesn't bill under this. It's a flat rate that we pay.
Yeah, yeah, and Sue Savon is the one that sort of does that on our behalf. She submits to the state. She's really good about submitting everything to make sure that we hit that cap, but yeah, the state is dragging their feet, and I don't know what's the holdup. I've gotten emails saying, we promise we have the funds, we promise the funds are coming, but again, yeah, I agree, we have not seen them yet. That's true.
Okay, anything else? Is there any public comment? If not, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to renew the professional services contract with Charles B. Woodman in the amount of $96,000 for fiscal year 27, $105,600 for fiscal year 28, and $116,160 for fiscal year 29 for indigent legal services, and in the amount of $48,000 for fiscal year 27, $52,800 for fiscal year 28, and $58,80 for fiscal year 29 for representation of individuals in NRS 432B juvenile temporary protection order cases and guardianship cases, effective July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, with the option to renew for additional one-year terms at the payment and on the same terms and conditions as set forth herein.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Yeah. Thanks, Alexa. We'll jump to 9C, consideration of possible action, approval of an immediate job recruitment for a social services director, revision to the social services director job description, duties, and compensation, and payment of $2,000 monthly stipend to Shannon Ernst to provide continued services on an interim basis for a period of 90 days. Joe? 60 days.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe Sanford for the record. As you may be aware, Shannon Ernst has tendered her current resignation from the position of Social Services Director. She's not leaving far. She's taken over the position as the administrator for the Central Nevada Health District. Unfortunately, that leaves us with an open spot. County Manager Spross and myself have gone over the job description for what Shannon has done and continues to do. It has been a fairly significant change since 2015. She had made some changes at the start of this year when doing the compensation study. We've revised it to ensure that it includes the CART program, the Life Center, and all of the other changes that currently exist. We're at a sort of unique point where we would like to recruit for this position, but we understand we're in the middle of a compensation study. And so I'd just like to give you some numbers about what is currently the Social Service Director position, what it's looking to be at the current recommendation from Baker Tilly, as well as your potential options, so that we can consider how you would like for us to recruit for this position. Obviously, if we recruit for the position at its current rate, which is grade 77 under our current scale, which ranges from $104,000 to $140,000 from step 1 to step 13. The current study from Baker Tilly places the Social Services Director position at a grade 24. That would be a range of $115,000 to $155,000. The majority of our director positions under the Baker Tilly study have been set at grade 25. That would be Chief Juvenile Probation Officer, Road Superintendent, Community Activities Director, etc. And so those have all been set at 25. That range would be $122,000 to $164,000. Now, this is a unique position where you're attempting to recruit for a position. We have this compensation study ongoing. It has not been adopted, has not been adopted for any person. And so, if we say we want to recruit a particular number, it somewhat locks us in, for this position at least, to that number. And so I'd like to get some input from the board on how you would like to recruit for it. The recommendation I would have is that for our director level positions, we have typically tried to keep those on one level for the majority of our directors, a second level for, say, the museum and library directors and court services director, and then we have another level above that for comptroller, chief legal officers, etc. Given that information, the recruitment, I'm going to recommend that we do at least the recommendation of grade 24 and potentially grade 25 if that is the intent of the board, to harmonize those as we have before, so that we can recruit a candidate that matches what we're likely to pay as well as what is expected of that position. If we recruit at the current rate, we absolutely can do that, but it will be posted at the $104,000 to $140,000. If you want to stay there, I would like some guidance about how we would potentially do negotiations. It can be very difficult if we potentially recruit someone and say, well, we can do step 1, which is $104,000, and then otherwise we need to go to the board, even if we were to ask for a substantial advanced placement. Happy to answer any questions you may have, and then I guess I'll address the $2,000 monthly stipend. Shannon has agreed to assist us for the next 60 days. on a stipend basis, $2,000. That's currently how she does the Central Nevada Health District and has for the past 8 months or so, as a $2,000 stipend to do work for them. This would be the reverse situation where she would be primarily employed as the administrator and then assisting as a social services director while we try and recruit someone new, and then transferring any knowledge that she has if we can get someone in time.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions or comments from board or staff? And which way do we kind of want to take this?
I mean, I have a comment, and it's just the way I feel about it. We did this compensation study, and they had a lot of information to put this at a grade 24. So I would suggest we put it at a grade 24.
I agree with you on that. Eric, do you have any opinions, thoughts?
I would say the compensation study is going to be done within the next 45 days. It's fair to say that, right? And then we have Shannon's, Miss Ernst's services until...
Ms. Ernst, and after analyzing the job description and seeing what's done there and seeing all the different facets of what that position is responsible for, I feel it's imperative to have someone in place prior to Ms. Ernst leaving, or at least doing our very best to get somebody in place prior to her leaving. I think there's so much institutional knowledge there that I think it would really harm the department if we did not have somebody there at this time.
Thank you for those comments.
I just have a couple comments. Well, if we're looking at the 60 days from a payroll standpoint, is it going to be like 2 months or 60 days? I mean, you're talking the middle of May, so are we breaking this down as a daily rate just for payroll, or we normally pay it like $1,000 per pay period? So, and then you're talking like May 20th, so that now I just would need some clarification on that. Also, just for your FYI on the job study, what the job study has done for management, for directors and stuff, we used to have a 12.5% between levels of directors. Now there's a 6% between the various levels of management, just so you're aware. You might have seen that already.
To a different pay structure, so there's absolutely no confusion. That's why I wanted to go down that road.
I prefer the 115,325 to 154,987 because that's what I'm actually going to post.
My only concern would be if that were to change until we get through this 45 days and it changes by $100 here or $100 there, now we've got another number that's part of that table that is not in alignment with what the table actually says. So it may be, unless you are confident that those numbers are not going to change, and by the smile on your face, I can tell that maybe you just don't know. But that would be my only reservation about putting a dollar range in there that...
Okay, I got it. What's the bottom number?
Is grade 24, bottom number is 115,325.
Okay.
So do we want to attach a number to this or no?
Yes,
would-
I'm going to attach parameters. And then if it doesn't fall within those parameters, they can come back. How about that? Once we get the Baker Tilly fingerprint.
What I was going to recommend is you get the grade and step that's closest to our chart right now, to that number, and advertise it as that. And then it might change when the job study comes in, so that we have a grade and a grade that we can actually put it on our current table, because the other table is not going to be in effect until July, so we can't pay off of 2 tables.
So do you have the table? Do you know what it is?
No, I don't have the table.
And Mr. Chambers, you feel confident that this position would be hired and filled prior to the new budget?
Prior to July 1st, yes.
Okay. I see your reasoning.
Yeah.
Do we have that calculation? Can you
Can I make a suggestion? I understand what Sherry's saying, and I think that makes a lot of sense. We don't have an adopted table, a new table, so we'd have to use our old one. Find the grade that is currently the closest to the grade 24 of the new table, with the caveat that it is adjusted to the grade 24 when the new table gets adopted, or the closest dollar value to the table when it is adopted, or some language like that. I'm not a wordsmith, but I think you get my idea.
So I'm not going to make the motion. I'm going to say that we will hire with the low-end number, the high-end number to get closest to the existing grades that we have, grade base scale that we have. And then if we have to come back when the comp study's done, then is that sufficient?
That's sufficient. For the record, that will be grade 81.
81. So I'll just say grade 81, then we don't have to do anything else, right? Okay. You guys?
Any other questions? Okay, public comment? Okay, a motion.
And there's no concern having both of those items attached to the same motion, right?
No.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the immediate recruitment of the Social Services Director, revise the job description for the Social Services Director, and setting compensation at grade 81 of the current pay scale of Churchill County, and provide a stipend of $2,000 to Shannon Ernest to provide interim services as the Social Services Director for a period of 60 days.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Joe. 10, the consent items. Does anyone want to pull anything off the consent agenda? If not, a motion to approve those.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Does anyone have anything they want to consider for a future agenda item? Okay, we'll move on to Commissioner and Management Staff reports. Commissioner Hyde.
I'm good today.
I had a good, I guess, IAC meeting with the Navy. That's all that I had. So, Commissioner Blakey.
I attended a LEPC meeting, getting ready for that. Fire board meeting, which we discussed what we presented earlier. I had a day visit from a representative from Congressman Amadei's office to show him around the county and tell him and show him why he needs to promote Churchill County everywhere he goes. Stillwater Conservation meeting, they were glad to see that we still had them in the budget. And attended the library volunteer reception. I didn't know we had that many volunteers down there, so I want to do a shout out to the volunteers at the library. They do a great job for this community. And then had a museum board meeting, and that was enough.
Sounds like it. Sherry? Wade?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Mr. Mallory? Chris?
I too attended the IEC meeting last week. To echo what Chairman Ghetto had mentioned, there was a lot of interesting information that was shared, some surprising, some not. And other than that, that's it.
Linda?
Pam retired, as you guys know. She's officially out of our office as of last Wednesday. So I think I just want to say, please be patient. We are down, and we crash-trained Miss Tara, who's doing an amazing job. But we'll get back up, so we may be asking for your forgiveness on minutes as we go forward until we can get that position filled. Candidate filing ended Friday. I'd like to say congratulations to everybody. Local offices, no opposition for Churchill County. And so that closed on Friday, and that was good. I'm glad everybody did file. I attended the GIOA conference, which is Government Investment Officers, in Vegas this last week, and learned a lot on investments on top of what our future is. So this was a good conference. That's all I have.
Tara? Tasha?
The Recorder's Office had 29 single-family sales in February with an average price of $352,000.
Denise?
The XCAP claim forms went out in the mail. If you did not get one, you can also file online. I think that's all I got.
Sheriff?
I got one. I turned it into her today at the meeting. I wanted to give an update on the February 20th Commissioner Hyde and Commissioner Blakey asked me a question in regards to budget. They asked if I could go back and review the budget that I had turned in and see if I could eliminate $100,000 from that budget in wages. The answer to that is yes. And I sent, I think, you guys messages, but I wanted to go on the record today and advise you that we were able to pull that out of the overtime budget. As you guys had asked us to go back and look at, and so trying to be transparent and fair, we removed that. And so you guys have that to play with on your end. So thank you for the questions. Thank you for the input during the budget process. It was refreshing, and I appreciated it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And I would like to comment on that. Thank you very much for doing that. And pulling that out of the overtime budget does not mean for me that if there's an emergency, we won't figure out a way to come up with that. So I appreciate that, Sheriff. Thank you very much. And if anybody else wants to sharpen their pencils, I'll welcome it. Thank you.
Okay, claims and payroll are going around.
Add something to that comment. We did not increase overtime at all in the budget. That was not approved in the budget, just so you know. The increase, it still has a budget. But if you look on your sheet that went out, it wasn't part of the part we.
If it's his existing budget or if it's his additional ads.
Was that, are you talking about your additional, you're reducing it from the current? Which I
No,
don't
ma'am,
think-
that was from the budget that we'll be rolling into in July. They asked me during that meeting if I could go and look at the proposed that we had put forward, and if I could remove $100,000 from the proposed budget that they were looking to approve it during that meeting, if I am correct. And so we went back, looked at that budget, and said that we could remove $100,000 from what we had requested to be more aligned with what they needed and still meet the needs of the public.
Okay, well, just for your information, we did not include that in the approval. Thank you.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay, claims and payroll are going around. At this time, is there any public comment? Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.